So we got a movie that we want to review.
Oh, yeah.
A documentary, actually, this time around. A documentary on Hulu called Wrinkles the Clown.
And I think this will probably become how we normally end our podcast.
Yeah, we'll probably end with a movie review.
Of some kind.
Yeah, so if you will pull up the scorecard that we typically use.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Wrinkles the Clown, what it's about is the 2016 crazy clown craze that everybody was freaking out about and everybody was posting about. It is about the man who started it all, this guy Wrinkles the Clown, and what he did was he was supposedly a business that you would call him and you would pay him money, and he would come to your home and he would scare misbehaving children. And from there, it just kind of excelled. And the documentary is, I believe it was 78 minutes?
Yeah, no, it was 83 or 84
minutes.
I
thought it was an hour 18. 78 minutes.
No, I think it was like 83 minutes. I can look it up. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll look it up. We'll give you the Wrinkles the Clown. We'll give you the definite total. Very good documentary. It starts out really strong.
No, you're right.
Yeah, 78?
It's hour 18, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's 78 and some change. It's really cool. It starts very strong, and then about like the midpoint, it gets like I've seen it twice now, and about the midpoint I was like, okay, you know, it's kind of dragging on. It's getting a little long-winded. Like,
yeah,
like what are we getting at here? Mm-hmm. And then around like the 48-50 minute mark, there's kind of a twist.
Oh, it's crazy.
And at that point, I was just like, okay, so now the documentary starts, right? So basically, what happens?
Really interesting, really quickly.
I'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and we'll give you the juicy details, and then we'll start with the scale. So,
okay. This is a spoiler review.
Yeah, spoiler review.
This is the end of the podcast.
Crazy.
So if you don't want to hear this, just this is it. Crazy from a documentary that we have to do spoilers, but anyway, it was good having you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So it follows the stories of Wrinkles, and it talks to a bunch of people. It talks to a couple kids that like Wrinkles, and some people that have to do with like behavioral, I guess like kind of disorders.
Issues.
Yeah, issues and
misbehaving children.
Yeah. So.
And we should also preface real quick. This was kind of one of the things that I don't know if you remember, but back in 2016, clowns kind of became a thing. People were wearing them, and this kind of sparked that.
Yeah, it's about like how it started.
Yeah.
So we meet the man behind the mask, but he does not want to be shown. It's an old man, and at no point do we see his face. It covers it, and he does the Wrinkles voice the whole time.
So that you can't tell his real voice.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to be identified.
Mm-hmm.
And it's revealed later on that the reason he does not want to be identified is because, because his number's out there, he gets death threats, like a lot. Mm-hmm. People call him being quite violent towards him. And then like the whole time running parallel to the actual documentary side is like kind of like a fictional recreation of him doing scary things and like abducting children and killing them and like painting walls with their blood and stuff like that. And during one of these fictional recreations, he is kidnapping a girl, and he is pursued by people. They catch him, and he unmasks. We do not see his face, but he unmasks. And then it cuts from that to what is, I guess, like in between takes, where we see the old man's face, and he's like talking to the directors about what he needs to do. And it is then that it is revealed that it cuts from us seeing the old man's face to a black screen. We hear a light click on, and it shows the Wrinkles the Clown mask. Another light clicks on, and at the end of a hall is a man in a hood with his face covered. sitting in a chair, and it is then that it is revealed that the old man we've been talking to this whole time is not Wrinkles the Clown, but a fictional representation that the actual Wrinkles has requested to throw people off.
Yes.
And then the documentary starts, and it gets into the actual story about Wrinkles.
Yeah. It was actually pretty wild.
Yeah,
it was really wild.
Like when that happened, I was just like the first time I watched it, my jaw dropped. I was like,
oh yeah,
dude, what?
The way they pulled that off.
What?
Oh yeah, that was a twist.
Yeah,
it was a haymaker.
They had me going.
Yeah. I saw his face and I was like, oh snap! And then he's talking and it said actor. And it said his name. It said this, like, you know, in documentaries, when someone starts talking, it'll like show their name and maybe what their association is. It said actor, said his name, and I said, "Oh, they got an actor to play the old man." You know, so he didn't want his face. So for these like acting scenes, and then no, I was wrong. It's just a fictional thing.
Yeah, completely.
In fact,
fictional.
The other guy's like a
so far
slightly overweight young guy. Is the other guy?
Yeah, probably like. Barely, but yeah, I would put him probably late 20s, mid 30s for the actual Wrinkles the Clown.
Yeah,
and he goes into.
We see how all the videos
how he started the fad, and
we see all the videos that. Because Wrinkles the Clown, there were like a bunch of videos about how crazy he is and stuff.
And like all these things that he's doing, like sticking into homes. And
we see how he like created those because they were actually legitimate productions.
Yeah. There were things that he created with like a cast and crew. Yeah. That he himself edited together.
Using actual film terms. Yeah. You know, Action 1, Action 2. Yeah. I mean, it was...
The work he put into it, actually pretty impressive if you ask me. I was
to create a hoax like that, it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Very, very good work. Very good documentary.
I think it was okay.
I didn't expect how it ended. Definitely the last like 30 minutes of the documentary, in my opinion, are hands down the best part. Yeah. But the last 30 minutes are worth the rest of the film. Yeah. Because like I said, the middle part of the documentary is kind of a slog. Through it gets old, it gets a little bit much, and you're just like, okay. When
are we gonna get to the?
When are we getting when are we really gonna dig into what's going on?
So I think we should just go ahead and rate it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll dive in.
All right, lighting.
I thought the lighting was excellent.
I did too.
Because like I said, there's a lot of like fictional recreations of things that happen, and those were.
The thing is, those looked like they were legitimately just.
Yeah, those dug pretty good into some. It looked like they were shooting a horror film.
Yeah, and then
a very well filmed.
And then take out the fictional recreations of these clown stories that they've the whole opening wasn't natural. It was all staged. Like until the big twist, it was all staged, but it was legit. Yeah. It
wasn't all staged because like all the stuff revolving around the old man as Wrinkles that was staged.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. All of that was staged. Yeah. But it felt so real. That's how it. At no point did I think this is all kind of faked. Yeah. No, it felt like
I bought it. I totally bought it the whole time.
I thought it was just a straightforward documentary, but no, it was staged, and the lighting definitely played a big part in that.
I'll give lighting an 8.
An 8? Yeah, that's fair. Direction, a 10.
Dude, 10. Yeah, dude, out of this world. As far as documentaries go, out of this world.
Writing, 10.
10. Yeah, out of this world.
Plot line.
Well, documentaries don't really have a plot line.
But this one kind of did. Because that twist created a plot line.
Yeah, it kind of did. I would give it...
And with a twist that well, and a plot line that was good, I mean, look, the Scientology documentary, which we'll do next time.
Yeah. We'll review that in the next podcast.
We'll have to rewatch it, but yeah.
I guess I'd give it a plot line. Give it a 9 on the plot line.
Okay. 8 maybe.
8.5.
I can't do halves.
Well, you can't. Okay, we'll give it an 8.
Okay, 8. Well, 8.5 rounded is 9.
We'll just give it an 8.
Okay, 8. Character development. Now that is what we get to.
I would maybe give that a 7 because we did see certain, like I said, there are children in this documentary who are kind of obsessed with Wrinkles, and they did grow. Mm-hmm. in some ways. Like we're presented with with like one idea of this, and then by the end of the documentary, we've spent enough time with these kids to know that what we initially thought wasn't necessarily correct, and our thoughts of them change.
Well, if you look at the character of Wrinkles, and I'm not talking about just the fictionalized version with the old man.
Yeah, but the clown Wrinkles.
But if you took the guy, the old man, and all that, if you took what Wrinkles was to the viewer, like me watching, and you started at the beginning to the very end, it's completely different.
Yeah, it is, because it goes from this like asshole who wants to scare kids for money to this guy who like wants to leave a legacy of the good things that you can do. Through non-conventional clowning.
Yeah.
So I
give it a 7.
Yeah, I agree with that. A 7. Yeah.
Use of camera to tell the story. Camera was great.
I give
especially the horror scenes. I give it a 9. You think 8?
You know what? I would go 9 because of how well they hid the old man's face until the reveal.
And I think how well...
Which was expertly done.
And I think how well they made it feel like a documentary. So much so that you believed it.
Yeah.
That it was... Because let's be honest, that was not a documentary for the first half of the movie.
Part of it was.
It's a mockumentary.
Part of it was.
You think so?
Yeah, because the things he talked about with the children and the parents that used Wrinkles and the folklorist and the guy from MSU.
Yeah, but the main part.
I would say pre-reveal.
Yeah,
it was a good 2/5 of the documentary wasn't about Old Man Wrinkles. It was genuine recounting from people that are involved with this.
I think their ability to go, and this may be more in the editing, but it's going from the fictionalized horror story that they're telling about Wrinkles the Clown abducting this child and stuff to the actual documentary / mockumentary parts of it. I think the way that they used the camera during those scenes was great.
Yeah, the cinematography behind the fictional recreations were great.
The colors were really good. The way they shot it.
Did you feel a definite? I felt like the film was quite inspired by Halloween 2018. I felt some heavy inspiration from
sure.
It. But I agree. A 9 on the camera. I'd go with that.
Pacing. That's where it kind of
pacing. No, I'd give the pacing probably a 4.
A 4.
3 or 4.
I was gonna go 5. I can meet you with 4.
Meet me with 4.
The pacing was
because. Like I said, the first 10 minutes, really cool. We get to meet everybody, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the mid,
I did find myself checking the time. It
really is a slug to get through a good portion of the film.
I think that it's only 78 minutes, but God, it feels longer than that.
It really, at times it does drag along, and it does feel a little much. But I feel once the reveal hits from then to the end, you're engrossed.
I think this could have been an hour-long documentary.
It could have been.
That would have been.
It could have been.
But no, pacing, I'd give 4.
Give it a 4.
Story structure, I would give that a little bit higher than the pacing. I think the pacing kind of took away.
Maybe a 6.
Well, I think the pacing kind of took away from the story structure.
Kind of.
If the pacing was better, the structure would have felt better. But the way that they've crafted this narrative that made us the audience believe we're watching a documentary about this old man who is Wrinkles the Clown, and then it turns out. I mean, I keep going back to that.
Yeah, well, because that's the big point of the documentary.
And I think that the structure that built that, you get what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that the way they constructed that story,
they put a lot of work into that.
And that's what I'm saying. I think the way they constructed that story, because they had to create a whole backstory for this character. Yep. They had to make it believable. Yep. They had to make it not seem fake.
Which they did. He gives a backstory as to why he does this and why he goes out to do all these things, and it's all false. It's all fictional.
Yeah. Here's the deal with the story structure with that. They had to make me believe that parents are calling, and he's doing it, right? Because parents did call.
Parents do call for.
They made us believe that this guy is doing this. That this old guy living in a camper,
like a shitty RV,
like an RV camper who spends his time at strip clubs, at in cheap motels.
Yeah, eats hungry man dinner every night.
Drinks. I mean, doesn't shave.
Yeah, drinks whatever he can afford to buy.
Lives in Florida, but has like a Bostonian accent.
Well,
that was the clown.
The whole thing was like he gave all of his interviews as Wrinkles the Clown, and Wrinkles the Clown does have like a New Yorker-esque accent. Yes,
but it made us believe that was a real thing that this guy was doing, and that people were calling him, and he was showing up and scaring kids. When that's not what was going on, but it made us believe that story structure that built him as a legitimate character.
Yeah, it spun one hell of a tale.
So
one hell of a tale just wasn't the case.
I'm gonna give it a 7. Actually, is what I would give it.
A 7. All right, 7. Yeah.
Meaning behind the story. Now, are we saying? Now, here's the deal. The meaning behind the story was not under the surface. It was very much out, and that's the thing with documentaries is they are talking about these things.
Yeah,
but it's not talking about how well they hide. They bring in 2 whole
people to talk about the meaning of like how okay it is to use Wrinkles the Clown.
Yeah, and the guy at the very end talking about like the legacy and what's important.
And how he personally the real man behind Wrinkles does not agree with using him as a disciplinary measure for your children.
Yeah, but this isn't asking how well does it hide the meaning. How good is the meaning of the story?
I agree with the meaning of the story.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what he said was a little far fetched about. I think what he said about Wrinkles the Clown being a positive.
Well, that's what he wishes for. It's not really the meaning. Sure. It's what he wants to be remembered as.
What's the meaning?
I think the meaning is that you shouldn't mentally terrorize your kids with false.
Sure.
with false things.
I think there's something a little bit deeper there, though. And I think the deeper part of the meaning behind the story has to do a lot with wearing our masks in society. I know that's probably you think might be reaching, but I think
that is reaching personally.
It shows what the film did a really great job of was showing the different walks of life of the people within the story. And this guy and the character that he created because he thinks this is kind of how he views Wrinkles the Clown.
Which we never see the real man. He does say we never see his face, and he does use a voice modulation the entire time.
What I'm getting at is Wrinkles the Clown being this outcast of society in a way. I mean, he really is like the guy, the old man version.
Yeah,
is an outcast to society who lives in a place. He's getting death threats. He hates it, all of that. But when he puts on the mask, everybody loves him. Everybody's calling him. They love him.
Not everybody loved him.
Most people that they showed.
He got genuine death threats.
Yes, he did get death threats, and that's what I'm talking about. When he doesn't get those death threats while he's wearing the mask. He gets those death threats at home.
Through the phone.
Through the phone. So what I'm saying is that idea that when he puts on the mask, which goes back to Halloween and undertones of the Halloween movie, is when he puts on the mask, it's society likes him. And they think his videos are cool, and they think his videos are freaky and unique.
I don't see how that relates to Halloween.
Michael putting on the mask when he comes out.
They hated the symbol of the mask because it was Michael's mask.
The way I'm relating to it in Halloween is that idea that Michael became Michael when he put on the mask. Like Michael Myers may have been Michael Myers, but when he puts on the mask in the new one, it made the mask is a really important thing.
Yeah, him getting the mask is a big point.
And that's what I'm talking about is that idea that like he's this character of Wrinkles the Clown. When he's not in the mask, he's getting death threats over the phone. He's annoyed. He's at strip clubs, shitty motels, eating crappy food, drinking shitty beers, all of that. But when he puts on the mask,
shitty beer, yeah.
when he puts on the mask, he's in society. That's how the society wants him. And so that's what I mean is like that kind of deeper undertone to the film. I think the meaning behind it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what would you give the meaning?
5 or 6.
5 or 6? I'll give you 6. I go through all that. I'll give you 6. What did we say for the story structure? We said 6.
I think.
Or did we say 7?
I think we said 6.
I think we said 7 though.
We might have.
Okay. I'm putting 7.
Go ahead.
Diversity. I mean,
a little diverse.
There were
mostly white people, but there was
some black
a black father-daughter.
Yeah.
And that was really it.
There were women too, so.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that women have to do with diversity.
They were though.
There were. Yeah, but like Yeah, 5 sounds fair. Yeah, I give it a 5.
Bechdel test. 0? I guess don't rate it.
Skip that one. Skip the Bechdel test. It's a documentary. Bechdel test does not matter.
Sound? I mean...
It was good.
It
was a documentary.
It's a documentary.
I think I heard everything that was said. There wasn't like ambience or anything.
Let's take out maybe just the straight recording of the sound, but maybe the sound mix too. It's a good sound mix. It did a great job.
I definitely appreciate how the music was never overbearing compared to the spoken words.
I think the sound was good. It was did a good job mixing in between scenes, blending different scenes together. So I think also some of the sound choices, some of the music choices were good. Really fit into those horror vibes. Yeah. So I mean, I'd give it 7, 8.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7. Definitely not an 8 in my opinion.
Okay. That was Bechdel test. We skipped that one. Get out of here. We don't want you.
I'm curious how you would score a Bechdel test, because I feel like the Bechdel test would either be a 0 or a 10. You know?
Okay.
Because it either happens or it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah. Either it happens or it doesn't.
So, like, what do you have an option to rate a Bechdel test on a scale of 1 to 10 when it's either a 0 or it's a 10?
I tend to skip that one. There's better ones out there than the Bechdel test.
Yeah, all right. Well, is that all? Is there more?
That's all.
Right, so what do we got?
The average is 7.4.
7.4. There you go. That's what we give Wrinkles the Clown on Hulu.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah, if you can get through it's very rewarding. You know what? Let's go and give our final thoughts.
Okay, final thoughts. It starts very strong. The middle is quite the slog, but the slog is worth it to get to the big reveal and what's beyond.
If you can get past the middle of it, it's very rewarding. And it's not that big of a chore to sit through the middle. I don't think it is. Yeah. It does slug, but it's not that big of a chore. I think we make it sound worse than it is. It's really not. It is interesting.
Yeah, I feel like we are overselling how bad the midsection.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It just kind of is a chore. It's not as good. It's not as strong. It's not as strong as the first and last.
1 and 3 rather.
Mm-hmm. So no, final thoughts. If you can get past the middle, it is very rewarding.
Yeah, if you can sit through 30 minutes of content that might not be exactly what you want to do, it's definitely worth it.